I am Dee Belew, my husband Bill Belew. You are in Auburn Township. It is a beautiful township in Geauga County. And you're in the Messenger home that we bought in 1992 from Lewis and Helen Messenger. This house was built originally 1832. The original sugar house was built in the early 1800s. It's a 70-acre farm. It's now conserved with the Western Reserve Land Conservancy.
I've been around the woods all my life. I grew up in an area that's all developed right now. Went to a lot of different properties that were conserved. And I just had the idea that, boy, this is the way to go. It's a legacy you can leave behind. And I think it's probably a costly one. And when you look what you can sell for development, but you can get lost in the woods. I mean, it's like having your own park in your backyard. I always wanted to make maple syrup for quite a few years. The sugar house had sat idle. I wasn't really sure the best way to maintain my sugar bush for health. It's an old woods. It dates back to 200 some years old. We needed some professional help, and that's when we got involved with NRCS.
When I first came out and met with Dee and Bill, they've been managing their woods intensively for years now. A lot of the things that we would traditionally do through Environmental Quality Incentives Program, like invasive species control, thinning out the problem trees to let the good trees grow, they had done a lot of that stuff. So we were able to roll them into the Conservation Stewardship Program, which gives them a payment every year for maintaining all that good work they've done. So it gives them some financial resources to help keep up with that, and then go above and beyond what our practice standards normally are. So what we looked at doing were some wildlife habitat improvement, some plantings, creating snag and den trees for wildlife. There's a natural vernal pool in the woods. This spring they're going to be doing some plantings for wildlife and pollinators, so things like buttonbush, elderberry, and things that will provide a pollen and nectar source early in the spring.
I've seen a lot of improvement on the young trees regenerating. In the last 3 or 4 years, I do have a lot of young maple coming in. And so overall, I can say the program has really worked, But my bottom line is it's maintaining the woods to get some income off of it for years down the road, but basically for a healthy sugar bush. I think it's a lot of fun. That's why we're doing it, Basically, we go out there, we try to pick that ideal time to tap. If we had nights just below freezing, and I'm talking 28, 27 degrees, we'd collect sap every day. I say collect sap. Sap starts running to feed the leaves. We only take about 10% of it. We go out there, we drill our hole, the sap starts running out. The next thing is we have to figure out a way to collect it. We're a smaller operation, under 1,000 taps. You'll hear this thing go in. I mark everything in orange tape that needs repair. Basically, you don't use a hammer on this little guy. You turn it, and we should hear a click. We don't want to tap anything smaller than 10 or 12 inches. That's about minimum size for one tap. Every long line's about 100 feet long. This is called a branch line. And just like branches on a tree, it goes down to a main line, which you'll see back in the back of the tank. The tree does exert pressure. I've been to a seminar where they drill a hole, put a tire gauge on real quick. It'll go to 40 psi. It's gas inside that tree that helps push the sap out. Once our taps are all in place, we have to have a gathering tank, somewhere to put that sap. It takes 40 gallons to make 1 gallon of syrup, or 50 gallons to make 1 gallon of syrup. And then that sap has to be brought to our evaporators, and we start boiling. But basically, let's pretend our woods is all tapped. That tank would be full of sap. And that sap is going to be around 2% sugar, like we said. We're going to go over and see the reverse osmosis machine. The object of this machine is to take about 60% of the water out of the maple sap, bring it from a 2% concentrate up to a 6% concentrate. It's membranes with a high pressure pump, taking the water, the waste, and putting it one direction, and taking the concentrate or the sweet and putting it another direction. The concentrate, which is now going to be 6% after it goes through the RO, is going to come down this tube up here. There'll be a fire underneath the evaporator here. The sap starts cooking, and as it gets thicker, it comes forward in different channels. We'll come out the other side as finished syrup. We'll draw a test cup full of maple syrup out. The top red line would float just like that on correct syrup. If we make it too heavy, it's way up high. If we don't cook it enough, it goes low. And the whole thing is heavy syrup will sugar on you, low syrup will ferment. The hot syrup comes off and it has a little bit of niter in it from the ground. So it has to be filtered out with a filter press. And the syrup will come through this filter press here. Just a bunch of little papers in there that catch any sugar, sand, or a piece of bark. When it comes out, it's perfectly clear. At that time, we put it into a hot water canner that maintains a temperature of about 185, and that's what we can at.
The store is where we sell our maple syrup. It is sold right off the porch. We sell all local stuff. Miller's Country Jams are made by the Amish. Fowler's Milling is in Munson in Geauga County. We make our own jam, the blueberries mainly because we grow the blueberries on the farm.
My whole thing on conservation, I grew up around a natural creek that had trout in it. I watched it destroyed. You take care of the land, it'll take care of you.
People love coming out here. They just love the beauty of it. They go into the woods and see the trees and, you know, the field. We have the most gorgeous sunset. We're teaching people, you know, and especially if people come out here, you know, we try to talk about the conservation, what we do and so forth, and we hope we spread that on.